I want to suggest to you, and I kind of approached Tim this morning and said, you're actually a co-presenter to this. And the reason I say that, I would have confidence whatever I say today is supported by DFO, because actually the presentation is actually the presentation that was provided to the new Marine Advisory Council that was actually initiated in July 17th this past year. So this is just the background, and this was actually presented to the committee, and I apologize. There may be a few background information material that you're not aware of. I'll try to give you a little bit of that. This started actually in the year 2004 as a result of a concern with the Bay of Fundy Stakeholder Committee wanting to have a more integrated approach to management in the Bay of Fundy as a result of conflict between aquaculturists and fishermen. And you can visit the website if you wish. It's going to be updated pretty soon, but that will give you a lot of the background information, a lot of the background documents that were prepared for the committee. And the name has changed over time and is now actually called it was called the Bay of Fundy Marine Resources Planning Process. And right now, what used to be called MRP, short for Marine Resources Planning, and now it's MAC, Marine Resources Committee. The boundaries of the project, for those that maybe aren't quite familiar with it, is actually from the St. John Harbor Authority down to the U.S. border, and going from the high water mark all the way over halfway through the Bay of Fundy to Nova Scotia. We've had a lot of concerns from Nova Scotia about being kept up to date on this, and we've tried our best to do that. When this project was initially developed, it was anticipated the plan would provide a basis for informed decision-making under federal and provincial legislation. And however, the resulting plan, the result of all those years since 2004, is the establishment of a Marine Advisory Committee making recommendations to government, and those recommendations now are just specific to policy and strategic matters. And I would suggest to you, if your department or your agency has anything to do with the management of activities in this marine area and or the allocation of land, your department is actually implicated in this Marine Advisory Committee. Hopefully that you're clear on that. If not, you can ask a few questions near the end. This is just to give you a little bit of idea of some of the people that were involved with the committee. So it's a wide representation. It's not sector based or representative. You're coming to the table without your hat on. And I would say for the most part, from my perspective, a lot of people that came to the table within this process came independent, and I thought did a good job of interacting, and some people suggested that this was one of the processes that they really felt that they were heard throughout the process. We had Sue Farquharson, that was a main participant within our process. I might say a little bit about her, but other than right now to suggest that she was very much focused on the community, did a lot of work in the community, one-on-one with people, and that added to the entire process, and I would say led to where we are today. So some of the past stages, this is phase 4, technically. We had phase 1, which was just a phase to plan to how to create a plan. And then the second was creating the plan. And the third was making recommendations to government as to what they wanted at the end of the day, and government reporting back. And phase 4 is actually the implementation of a Marine Advisory Council. As you can see, we've had a couple reports. At the end of phase 2, there was a report provided to both levels of government called Preferred Future of the Bay, and there's several different actions that were identified, several goals. I'll highlight those shortly for you. And the government, we had government feedback from that report, and government agreed to initially focus on three key areas: an advisory structure, conservation protection areas, and an economic study. The economic study has been complete, and the advisory structure has led to the development of the Marine Advisory Committee, and conservation and protection was discussed briefly with the committee members. So the final request of the process where the community and the committee was established is actually the request for the establishment of the committee, which they now have. They actually requested a council, and we had to deal with issues concerning establishment of new council when several councils within New Brunswick were being abolished at the time. So it's now been labeled as a committee. When we initially started this process, the committee was very adamant that before we make any final recommendations to government, we want to go out to the public and get feedback as to what people wanted. We had a letter that went out to all the residents in the Bay. We had 10,000 letters go out, and we had a response rate of about, I'd say about 1,200. We had a consultant coordinate this process, and within that period of time, we had, I would say, I think it was 7 or 8 different public sessions in the public, and Sue Farquharson, who was hired as the coordinator for the initiative, met with several individuals one-on-one in the various communities. And then on top of that, we've had at least 2 different workshops. One in St. Andrews. We had government regulators, those that approve applications in the marine environment, met with the committee to identify what we do now in terms of our processes and challenged as to, well, how does this actually fit? So as you can see, the initial concern was about the interaction between fisheries and aquaculture. When you go out to the public, your issue becomes reframed, I find. So the public fed back, these are the things that we felt were required for improvements within government. Resource management and decision making, they wanted a voice and they wanted a transparent decision making process. People actually wanted a say. They want marine ecosystem conservation was a very key and critical component of it. Need to protect sensitive areas, spawning areas, unique habitats. This was a concern of a lot of the fisheries individuals and ENGOs in the area, and NGOs. And marine access, public was asking for more equitable access to the marine environment for economic and non-economic uses. And there was concern about having healthy coastal communities and sustainable livelihoods, ensure that new developments that are taking place, such things as perhaps tidal energy may have been, in-stream tidal power generation, and or other activities did not undermine the existing livelihood of the existing community. And the last one was they felt that there needed to be more research and monitoring to ensure that we had the best science available when we were trying to make decisions on policies and issues. And of course, Simon's just smiling there because he thinks, hey, that's great. So within the report, the preferred future of the Bay, they identified 10 goals. And the process throughout was actually try to achieve these goals. I'm sorry that the slide is is not an appropriate slide in terms of so much on it, but however, as you can see, it kind of reinforces the key themes. Minimize user conflict in the planning area, create more transparency and predictability in decision making, develop a communication system by which the public can become more aware and involved in marine planning, relate to and influence plans that are active in the planning area, integrate traditional, social, cultural, including First Nations values in decision-making processes, maintain healthy marine ecosystems, conservation of sensitive communities and unique habitats, maintain and protect coastal access. So these were actually the 10 goals that were identified by the people throughout the entire process, coordinate the report. And I would suggest that most places you would go, Sean, even today, probably those are a lot of the themes that you see in your work within Nova Scotia. And the ACZISC probably had similar goals, and any planning exercise that would take place in the marine environment probably would identify these. I keep going backwards. However, the primary recommendations that the Marine Resources Planning Initiative made to government were: government needs to address community issues and concerns with the major themes of greater community engagement and participation in government processes and decision-making, consideration of community values in decision-making, and increased transparency, accountability, and access to information. Those were the key themes that kept coming up and was reinforced to government. And as a part of their suggestion to accomplish that was to create a Marine Advisory Council. They wanted to have a local office that was a marine planning office where people would come, could view maps, could have input into decisions. That was the recommendation to government. But as a lot of this discussion took place within the committee and feedback from the process, the committee was supported by a government secretariat, and the government secretariat provided advice and support throughout the process, and I think that was one of the key things that helped move the process along. The final request to government was the establishment of a Marine Advisory Council for a 3-year trial term with a communication strategy, and to utilize the community's values criteria, which was an approach that they developed relative to making recommendations on for decisions on applications for activities and the use of space. I won't go into that other than suggest that the values that were established as a result of the consultations were put together in a format, and we're working on within our process right now to actually refine that and utilize that in how we go forward. I'll mention just a little bit about that a little bit later. And they wanted to ensure that the government secretary was still maintained to support the process. One of the things that probably is what we've had most concern about has been the communication strategy. How will this advisory committee communicate to local citizens, and how will that be incorporated into the final decision making? They had suggested different things. We've settled really on a web-based approach. We know that we have some work to do going forward in terms of refining how that will work for them and actually for government as well. As a result of having the recommendation for the establishment of this advisory council, government sent this out through the ARCOM process, and anybody that has an influence in decision making within the provincial government and through the federal government, from Tim's office, was sent and requested feedback on the establishment of this process. So if this is new to you, it's we missed some, or you're new to your function, and